Live every day as if it were the last, because before you know it, time goes past and life's just not that long. Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone.
All romantic relationships, all friendships, all marriages have ups and downs, serious problems, difficult hurdles. But if you and your marriage partner are both miserable most of the time, for months or years in your marriage, if you've tried marriage counseling, set yourselves free. No matter what your religion says about divorce, no matter what your families and friends say, no matter the promises and vows you both made when you did not know better, no matter if you have kids, do your kids like the emotional war of screams, curses, threats, or the icy silence they suffer between the two of you? Drinking booze will not heal your broken dreams. Booze makes a bad marriage worse. Buying lots of expensive crap you do not need will not heal your broken heart. Hugging out on sweet shit, ice cream, candy, cake, sodas, cookies will never satisfy your deep desire for affectionate, passionate sex and romance. We all make many mistakes in life. If your marriage constantly feels like slavery, if your marriage feels like prison most of the time, set yourselves free. Do not blame the hell all on your partner. Do not stay together because you're afraid of being alone. Do not stay together because you're afraid you will never find somebody else for romance. Do not stay together so you can live in your bigger place with more money. Far better to live peaceably, alone, in a much smaller place, with just enough money for your basic needs, than to live in a mansion, making each other miserable. My mother and my dad were miserable cellmates until death in the prison of their marriage. Very hard on both of them. My dad became a workaholic. My mother became severely addicted to sugar and to buying much small stuff she did not need. If I had been my mother, I do not know how I could have coped being married to my dad. If I had been my dad, I do not know how I could have coped being married to my mother. They were married 48 years until my mother died. I wish my mother and my dad had parted peacefully or had never married. Some couples become better friends after they no longer live together. How much would you enjoy having a luxury car if your lungs are shot from many years of smoking 2 packs a day? How much would you enjoy having a souped-up lowrider if you're suffering diabetes, dialysis, stroke, amputated legs, and going blind because of many years of eating sugar shit, refusing to exercise? How much would you enjoy $1 million mansion if you're dying of liver disease because of many years drinking booze? How much would you enjoy having the most money in your family and in your community if you would always wonder how many of your relatives, how many of your neighbors would still be friendly, as friendly to you, if you did not have all that money? Do they love you, or hope you will give them some of your money? Some millionaires, some billionaires suffering serious sickness would give all their money if they could have a healthy body. A person with a healthy body, some close friends, and enough money for nutritious food and small, decent shelter is far richer than any millionaire, any billionaire in a very sick, fat body. Many kids have imaginary friends they talk to, especially if they have few real playmates. Many kids have imaginary friends they talk to, especially if every day they suffer constant hell at home. Many adults have their imaginary friend, God, in the heavens. Many adults pour out their hearts, their whole lives, to this imaginary friend, God. They pray for help in many awful situations. If their imaginary friend, God in the heavens, does not help them, these sincere believers will defend their imaginary friend, God, with all kinds of excuses. It was not God's will. God is testing my faith. In the next life after death, I will understand why God chose not to do what I prayed for. Many excuses why God, their imaginary friend, did not help them in desperate situations. In many places, for hundreds of years, I could have been tortured. I could have been locked up. I could have been killed by a mob of believers of whatever religion for saying this publicly, what I just said. I humbly confess I was a sincere young Christian preacher in the 1960s, first in Virginia, then in Illinois. And for many years, I publicly prayed to, I preached about, I sang about God, this imaginary friend in the heavens, with much help from many people. I slowly woke up to my religious fantasy, my delusion. I am no longer a believer in this imaginary friend, God in the heavens, and I regret and I apologize for advertising this make-believe imaginary friend, God. I wish we had a fair, loving, all-powerful, real parent God who helped all who desperately pray for help. But I refuse to swallow and to advertise feel-good, make-believe Bullshit. I want truth. African American Colin Powell became very high in the U.S. military, the U.S. government. Sadly, Colin Powell had the blood on his hands of millions of people in the Vietnam War, the Gulf War against Iraq, and the later U.S. war against Iraq under George W. Bush. Colin Powell grew up in New York City, and many of Colin Powell's neighborhood's kids became violent street gang members. Many gang members killed and died on the streets. And many gang members went to prison. The awful, sad, bloody truth is Colin Powell was heavily involved in the blinding, the crippling, the murder of far more human beings than all those violent street gang members in his community combined. But because Colin Powell did his massive bloody violence as a big shot in the U.S. military and the U.S. government, millions of whites, millions of blacks considered Colin Powell a success, a hero, a model of African American achievement. Does anyone in the U.S. mainstream newspapers, radio, or TV say what I just said about Colin Powell? And sadly, most of them in the newspapers, radio, TV, are addicted to the U.S. war machine and will not take a public stand against U.S. wars. No one is born evil. No one. Colin Powell was not born evil. Colin Powell became a war criminal step by step as many people cheered him on. And sadly, Colin Powell celebrated black people accepted and promoted in the most violent gang in the United States, the U.S. military. Many white U.S. presidents and generals are also war criminals. For thousands of years, all empires on earth celebrate when former victims of that empire become partners in the empire's atrocities to other people. The U.S. empire celebrates when its former victims, blacks, Chicanos, Native Americans, become soldiers to rob and to murder people, especially people of color, in smaller nations. Many people have cancer for years in their bodies and do not know they have cancer. The cancer has not spread in their bodies. Drinking cow's milk, eating cheese and ice cream has much casein. Casein is a protein. And scientists feed casein to experimental animals in cancer research to speed up the growth of cancer. Casein and sugar make cancers grow faster. If you know you have cancer, or if you think you might have cancer anywhere in your body, drink no cow's milk, eat no cheese, no ice cream made from cow's milk, drink no sodas, eat no candy, no cookies, no cake, no donuts, no sugar shit. I eat no sugar shit. I consume no cow's milk in cheese, ice cream, or drinking it. A highly respected Israeli military leader said years ago, the Israeli army has always struck civilian populations purposely and consciously. He said the army has never distinguished between civilians and military targets, but purposely attacked civilian targets. Israel's longest-serving chief of staff said, I don't believe in peace because if they, speaking of the Palestinians, had done to us what we did to them, we would never make peace. Since 1948, Israel has bulldozed almost 50,000 Palestinian houses. Not one Jewish house. Israel has stolen desperately needed water from Palestinian villages. Israel has physically tortured many Palestinians for many years. Israel's founding father, David Ben-Gurion, said, after we become a strong force as a result of the creation of a state, we shall abolish partition and expand into the whole of Palestine. The U.S. State Department warned in 1948 the Jews will be the actual aggressors against the Arabs. However, the Jews will claim that they are merely defending themselves in the event of outside Arab aid. Israel's chief negotiator at the 2000 Camp David Peace Summit said, if I were a Palestinian, I would have rejected Camp David. The concessions offered by Israel fell far short of even modest Palestinian expectations. And years ago, an old man in Gaza stood on a corner holding a sign. The sign said, you take my water, burn my olive trees, destroy my house, take my job, steal my land, imprison my father, kill my mother, bombard my country, starve us all, humiliate us all, but I am to blame. I shot a rocket back. And many online videos of young Israeli soldiers, mostly in their 20s, bragging, I killed 22 children, and I'm going to kill more. One Israeli soldier was happy that he killed all these cockroaches that he called the Palestinians. Israel has trained its people to think of Palestinians as below human beings. Well-known Israeli generals and politicians have called Palestinians beasts walking on two legs, human animals, crocodiles. And when Palestinians non-violently resist the theft of their land and homes, they're called terrorists. When they're arrested, they are often held in prison indefinitely without ever being charged with any offense. 20,000 Palestinian children over the years have been sentenced to military prison by military courts with no right to see their parents or a lawyer. I strongly compliment thousands of Jews. I strongly compliment thousands of Jews in the United States who publicly protest and who damn Israel's massive murder of Palestinian women, men, and kids. I support full, equal human rights for all people on earth. A 70-year-old woman suffered from schizophrenia. This 70-year-old woman had delusions, hallucinations, attempted suicides with sharp objects, cleaning solutions for 53 years since she was a teenager. But within 8 days of stopping eating wheat, she had completely relieved herself from her mental illness. She no longer wanted to kill herself. Wheat can cause, doesn't always, no, of course not, but wheat can cause mental illness or make it worse in some people. 26-year-old Jason could barely walk. All of his joints hurt. But 5 days after Jason stopped wheat, he had no pain. I urge you to stop eating all wheat to lose fat bellies and to help or get rid of many different health problems. Stop eating everything containing any grain. Stop eating everything containing sugar. Eating 2 slices of whole wheat bread can increase blood sugar more than 2 tablespoons, not teaspoons, 2 tablespoons of sugar. And do an experiment on your body. Stop eating wheat and all other grain for 4 weeks. For some days after you stop, you may feel worse as your body detoxes from the wheat and the other grain. But see for yourself how much better you feel after you detox. You will begin to lose fat, and if you like the change in your health, stop all grain the rest of your life. One possible exception, you may be able to eat Native American blue corn Native American blue corn with no problem. I eat no wheat, and as of now, I eat no grain. I love to see mountains. I love to see beautiful flowers. I love to see gorgeous sunsets. I love to see the naked bodies of lean, healthy men, brown men, black men, native men, Asian men, white men, men who have no shame about their naked body. On one wall of my room where I live, I have many photos of attractive naked men, some of them enjoying each other's bodies, fucking, sucking cock, licking ass. I would be ashamed as hell to have photos on my wall of soldiers in uniform holding guns. I would be ashamed as hell to have photos on my wall of boxers bruising and injuring each other. I would be ashamed as hell to have photos on my wall of NFL players brain damaging each other. And the first place I ever enjoyed mixed public nudity, naked men and women together in public, was in 1972, almost 53 years ago, at the Spence Hot Springs in the Jemez Mountains of New Mexico. I was 26, and I fell in love with being naked. I went to the hot springs dozens of times in the 1970s, 80s, 90s. And I have a photo of the official federal government sign in that parking lot. And the sign said, bathing suits not required Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Bathing suits required Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was a compromise solution for those who enjoy naked bodies and those who do not enjoy naked bodies. And people came to that hot springs, Spence Hot Springs in the Jemez Mountains, from many states, other nations. Sadly, that official federal government sign was removed years ago. I have not been there for 25 or more years. Since 1972, almost 53 years ago, I have been an enthusiastic nudist. As far as I know, for many years, Albuquerque's most well-known nudist. I have photos my mother took of me naked as an adult. I was often naked as an adult in the presence of my mother and my father. And for many years, I posed naked for hundreds of artists in Illinois, in Santa Fe, at UNM, and in other places in Albuquerque. Would I sign a document if I did not know what the small print says? Hell no. But sadly, millions of people buy and swallow the terribly processed factory food for years, never reading the labels on those cans, boxes, packages, jars. The giant food companies have scientists to flood the food with dangerous chemicals. Why? To keep customers addicted, so they keep buying and making huge profits for those companies. The junk food companies have more lobbyists pressuring members of Congress than even the bloody war weapons companies. And this fake factory food makes people fat, causes dozens of other sicknesses. I eat nothing of that slow poison, chemical shit. We're all going to die. I'm going to die. But I want to be healthy as possible until I die. Why suffer? Why spend months, years suffering? Hospitals, nursing homes, confined to home. And never before have so many millions of people been guinea pigs for such dangerous fake food. The head of McDonald's receives $20 million a year. But many McDonald's fast food workers qualify for EBT food stamps and Medicaid because of the low pay the McDonald's fast food workers receive. But the head of McDonald's receives $20 million a year. I refuse to spend one damn penny in any McDonald's. We depend on immigrants to harvest the fresh fruit and vegetables in our supermarkets. People who eat meat depend on the immigrants who work in the slaughterhouses. The crime rate among immigrants is lower than for us who were born in the United States. And far better than piling up loads of money for our old age, if we live that long, is living and eating healthy all our lives, giving us a much better chance of living long and feeling good when we're old. If you have a romantic partner, do you feel trapped and caged by that person you're dating or are married to? Does your partner feel trapped or caged by you? Is he or she jealous? Are you jealous? How would he or she react if you leave the relationship? Violence? Stalking? Bad-mouthing you to other people? Can you say clearly your partner's strengths and your partner's weaknesses? Is he or she honest with you about everything? Are you honest with him or her about everything? Do you need someone who is in love and makes love with no one besides you? Do you lie to each other about anything? Are you ready to hear the truth, even if it is not what you want to hear from your partner? How does he or she talk about past romantic partners? How do you talk about past romantic partners? Are you still friends with past romantic partners? Do you pretend you like certain movies or concerts or sports just to please your partner? Do you pretend? Be real with each other. No lies, no games, no bullshit. Just speak the truth. If you ask him or her, does he or she not want to answer about past romantic partners? Is he or she still friends with them? Would you or your partner or both of you be better off as friends, but no longer dating or married to each other? Sometimes romance is like 8-year-old Jose finding a baby bird fallen from the nest. Jose picks it up, runs excitedly to show his mother. He opens his hand, and the baby bird is dead. Jose squeezed the life out of that baby bird without intending to. He didn't think what the baby bird was feeling in his tight hand. Never make your romantic partner feel trapped or caged or suffocating in your relationship. The U.S. has over 800 military bases around the world, and all other nations on earth combined have about 70 military bases outside their nations. The U.S. military causes more of the climate crisis than any one of 140 nations in the world. The massive carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases causing the climate crisis from U.S. military bases outside the U.S. are not included in the total for U.S. as a nation. The United States spends more money for war than the next highest 9 nations combined. The U.S. government calls it for defense, but no nation has invaded the United States since 1812, over 200 years ago. Many years ago, the now so-called Defense Department was named, more honestly, the War Department. The United States has thousands of nuclear bombs, thousands of warplanes. The U.S. government is absolutely criminally drunk on spending for war, to steal and to hog the resources and the cheap labor of many smaller nations. U.S. evil weapons companies and oil companies are filthy rich from billions of U.S. government dollars. Most U.S. congressional districts have weapons of war companies. The U.S. military has military as staff in U.S. congressional offices. Many U.S. people say war is not the answer, but over 700 lobbyists working for war companies pressure Congress to support U.S. wars and preparing for U.S. wars. The U.S. war companies and other filthy rich pay for the election campaigns of Congress. Many people in the Pacific Islands and many U.S. veterans have suffered sickness and death from many tests of U.S. nuclear weapons there years ago on those Pacific Islands. The U.S. depleted uranium, U.S. Agent Orange, U.S. chemical and biological weapons, U.S. destruction of oil fields, fires, chemical spraying, sicken and kill many people and their children and their grandchildren in places where the U.S. has tested weapons and waged war. The victims include U.S. veterans. 1/3 to 1/2 of federal income tax pays for U.S. wars, past wars, present wars, future wars. Always follow the oil. Always follow the money. Iraq has natural gas, oil, and port access to the Persian Gulf. Afghanistan has natural gas, oil, lithium, opium. Africa has oil and uranium. Cell phones contain cobalt and coltan from the Congo in Africa. Iran has the second largest oil reserves in that region. Always follow the money. Always follow the resources if you want to understand why this U.S. government does what it does all over the world. The U.S. government and U.S. corporations are greedy as hell. I have paid no federal income tax for 46 years, and I never will. I refuse to pay for U.S. mass murders in U.S. wars, past, present, future, in many nations. I cannot stop the U.S. from doing the atrocities it has done under both Republican and Democrat presidents for decades, but I sure as hell stop my paying for those atrocities. Men, if you enjoy having a woman or a man suck your cock, swallow your cum, taste your cum when you're pleasuring yourself alone. If we're healthy, if we eat only healthy food, if we do not drink booze, if we do not smoke cigarettes, if we do not take prescription drugs or street drugs, if we do not work around dangerous chemicals, our cum should taste good, and our cum is nutritious. Many years ago, I had sex with a man in Virginia. His cum tasted awful. Maybe he never knew it if he had never tasted his own cum, and if no one he had sex with told him. I did not tell him. Women and men swallow the cum only of men who live healthy. Poisons from a smoker's cigarettes are in his cum and in a woman smoker's vaginal fluids. No matter how good looking the man or the woman is, no matter how kind, how dependable the man or woman is, if he or she is a smoker, some of those poisons are in the man's cum and in the woman's vaginal fluid. I remember my bisexual friend Herman who died years ago in his 90s. Dear Chicano friend Herman. Herman greatly enjoyed sucking men off. He said their cum was like a milkshake. Now, I do not drink milkshakes because I do not eat sugar or drink milk. I used to, but I stopped years ago. But I surely understand what my dear friend Herman meant when he said taking a man's cum was like a milkshake. Do I believe white supremacists can change? Do I want those white supremacists to wake up and to change? What can I say, what can I do to help them want to change? And apart from the love, the wisdom, the inspiration I've received from many, many people, I am no better than white supremacists or anybody on earth. Taking antibiotic drugs can kill not just the bad germs, but also the good germs we need to digest nutrients and fiber in our intestines. And many animals are fed lots of antibiotics. Why? To fatten them up faster, so the farmers make more money. The antibiotics in those animals' meat and milk, and the antibiotic drugs people take directly can cause fat bodies, can cause allergies, asthma, diseases of the intestines. I eat no meat, no dairy. The first Thanksgiving Day was proclaimed in 1637 by the governor of Massachusetts. Why? To commemorate the wiping out of the native Pequot people, the Native American Pequot people, the white massacre of over 700 native men, women, and kids. Did I learn that in school? Hell no. Not enough sleep causes us to crave junk food. Not enough sleep can cause fat bodies. Not enough sleep can cause diabetes, cancer, dementia. Not enough sleep can cause emotional problems, colds, flu. Not enough sleep can cause heart attacks, strokes, depression, memory loss, lower immunity. Not enough sleep can cause high blood pressure. Never consider yourself lazy for getting as much sleep as you need to be healthy. A woman in Australia said that she, in 1988, had cancer in the bowel. She had liver cancer, cancer in her lymph system. For the cancer in the bowel, she had 3 surgeries within 3 months. Ended up only skin and bone. For the liver and lymph cancers, she was offered chemotherapy, but she refused. And all the anesthetics, the antibiotics, the drugs after surgery had weakened her immune system to rock bottom. But she was given by a friend the book, The Water of Life, about urine therapy, written by J.W. Armstrong in England. And this woman in Australia, who had suffered so much, decided not to tell her doctor, not to tell anyone, until she felt totally healed. She did not want any discouragement or negative influence. This woman kept up with meditation, relaxation, her usual wheatgrass juice mixed with lettuce juice to make it more tasty, and other veggie juices. She ate plenty of salads and greens. She ate no meat, no cooked foods, no dairy products, no oils or fats for 3 months to heal her liver. She ate no cooked foods. She had daily rubbings of her whole body, including her hair and scalp, with urine. The skin is an absorbing organ for the lymph glands. And she would do this in the afternoon and shower the next morning. She also drank her own water of life, her piss, in between meals, early morning, during the night, up to 7 glasses per day. And 9 months later, she went to the doctor looking and feeling well. And what a great surprise to the doctor. He thought she had already died. A blood test showed no remaining trace of cancer anymore. I started drinking my piss for health November 10th, 1999. I have drunk my piss most days since that, except for 2 months after I suffered the hit and run May 16th, 2023. In the hospitals then, I was given drugs that were also in my piss, so I stopped for a while. I now drink 1 pint of piss, my piss, every morning after I get up to be healthy. More than 14,000 scientists in many nations have condemned world leaders for not taking action on the main causes of the climate crisis and the worsening climate emergency. And these more than 14,000 scientists from many nations say stop the use of fossil fuels, gas, oil, coal. These more than 14,000 scientists from many nations say greatly reduce chemicals poisoning the environment, bring back the natural plants, the animals destroyed in many places. They say switch what we eat away from meat and dairy to mainly foods from plants. These scientists say stop the population explosion of humans so that we have no more total human beings alive in the future than are living now on Earth. These more than 14,000 scientists from many nations say the Earth's environment is getting much sicker, faster than ever before. All schools need to teach students about the worsening climate crisis they face in their lives, and what is more important, what we each can and must do to slow this damn climate crisis. If your parents are still alive, and if you want to ask forgiveness from your mother or your dad, do it now. If you want to ask your mother or your dad personal questions about their lives, do it now. If you want to answer their personal questions about your life, your ways, your feelings, do it now. If you want to thank your mother or your dad, if you want to compliment them sincerely on anything, if you want to confront them non-violently, do it now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed to anyone on earth, whether we're 7 or 97. And many people stand with overwhelming regrets and tears, loads of tears, at silent graves. I thank you for watching, listening. I welcome you to stop me anytime on the street if you want to hug, or if you want to ask me any personal questions. I strongly thank Mark, Eddie, Travis for helping me many dozens of times with this program. My fresh piss to your health.
Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone. Taste the wind, don't let it blow on by. Sing songs of love, let the music get you high, and when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on. And when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on. And when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine.